Hey everybody, so this video we're making some homemade zucchini bread, and we're going to be testing out the modified Aldi Ambiano cordless mixer. So in the previous video I changed out the motor in this mixer, and I also added a whole bunch of holes to it for improved ventilation. So I got this mixer at Aldi back late last year, right around Christmas. Got it for less than $20, and for that price I was not expecting a whole lot. And of course this isn't going to be nearly as nice as, I say, the KitchenAid cordless mixer or even the Cuisinart cordless hand mixer. But hey, for $20, I mean, hey, if it does the job, then I guess that's a good buy. But previously with the original motor, it would run too fast on the lowest speed, and once you got into some thick stuff it would really bog it down, and it would kill the battery super quick, as well as literally burned the motor up, because the motor was not designed for low speed high torque applications. Instead it was designed for high speed low torque applications. So I swapped out for a motor that's better suited, has a built-in fan. And also off camera I have actually modified this mixer to accept KitchenAid mixer attachments. Literally all I had to do was I had to open up these bottom holes a little bit. Really I was supposed to open up just one, but I got a little confused and opened them both up because one of the beaters is actually keyed. But anyway, aside from that, I also had to trim off a little bit of the eject fork. But now this cheap thing will now accept the turbo beaters that you would find on a KitchenAid mixer. Matter of fact, these are exactly the same as what's on the expensive KitchenAid mixer. So we're going to be using KitchenAid beaters on this thing for this test. Alright, so I've got my dry ingredients ready to go. I need to mix them up. So we'll be doing dry ingredients, and I'm going to be mixing up wet ingredients and then combining them together. And you can see the low speed does not throw everything everywhere. Now unfortunately I don't have any video footage of me testing this mixer with the original motor, but just trust me when I say that now it won't throw flour everywhere, make a nice big flour cloud in your kitchen. As you can see, it's just chugging right along, mixing this right up just fine. So that's on low speed, by the way. I just charged this up, I think it was last night, so it's got a full charge on it. Alright, so let me get my wet ingredients together and we'll continue. Now, I do have a video over on Cube Comp MDTX of me making zucchini bread, but the funny thing to note was I was doing it all by hand. I didn't have a hand mixer back then, so I was literally using my hand, and well, of course, something like this right here, and to manually mix everything, which was quite tiring on the arms. Okay, so now I'm going to mix up our wet ingredients, and of course we still have not yet added the zucchini, but we got to combine all this together first. So we'll see how it does with this. That was speed 1, this is speed 2, and this is speed 3. Okay, so now we're ready to add our zucchini. Okay, so I've added the zucchini. Now we need to go ahead and mix it in. So this is going to be a little more of a challenge for it. So anyways, here we go. So this is on low speed. I'm going to kick it up to medium. So one thing about it, you'll notice how it kind of bogs down in first speed, but once you kick it up to second or third speed, it really has some power. It does a whole lot better than it did with the original motor. Alright, so now we're ready to go in and combine our wet mixture and our dry mixture. So this will be the biggest challenge for it, because this is where things get a little bit more thick. So let's add everything from the smaller bowl to the bigger bowl. Alright, so we're going to start out on speed 2 for this. We're still on speed 2. We're going to kick up to speed 3. I mean, this is actually really thick. You see we are down to 2 bars. I may have to add some water to this. It is pretty thick. And just a tad bit of water. Because if I bake it thick like that, it will not rise well, from my experience. Adding just a little bit of water. It says we're down to 1 bar. Let's see if it can make it. It definitely has more power than it used to, but the battery life on it is just not that good. It only has a 1.5 amp hour battery in it. just a tad bit more water. See if this thing can make it. Alright, I think we're just about ready to go. Okay. Alrighty. That's speed 2. That's speed 1. Just to show how thick this is. I mean, it's a pretty thick batter. And one thing about it is now you actually feel the thing getting warm, because that fan that's on that motor is helping to cool the motor and actually distribute heated air off the motor into the surrounding environment. The original motor did not have a fan, which is why the last time I made zucchini bread with this mixer, when it had the original motor, the motor was literally, you could literally smell it burning up. Now, the motor, you can smell it, it's warm, however it's not like a burning smell. And I should note that these beaters here are much bigger than the ones that came with the mixer. Let me find them real quick. So, you can see the beaters that are on it now. These are the KitchenAid, I think they're called turbo beaters. There's a beater that came with the mixer, just for size comparison. So, this thing's having to work with larger beaters. So, with the original beaters, maybe I should have tried it with the original beaters, but I figured let's just go with these here. And as you can see, just one more mix. This battery's about to die on it. So we'll make sure this is mixed really well. And I think we're definitely there. Okay, so now we're ready to go ahead and put this batter into loaf pans. Okay, so off camera I grabbed out my 2 loaf pans. These are large loaf pans and I've sprayed them. So I'm going to set the oven to 350 degrees. And yes, it is actually pretty late. I was out back working on stuff outside earlier because it's been so hot today. So anyways, now we're going to go ahead and transfer that batter over to these loaf pans. Okay, and while we're waiting on the oven to finish preheating, let's go ahead and eject these beaters. Okay everybody, so my verdict. I can definitely say that the motor swap really has helped this thing out. It's definitely a lot more powerful than it was. No, it's still not as powerful as, like, let's say, a lot of plug-in hand mixers, but it definitely does offer a good bit of power. And that zucchini bread batter was quite thick. I'd say that the batter is probably about as thick as chocolate chip cookies, and I may do a test with this thing on chocolate chip cookies on video. That will definitely be a tough test. Normally I use my cordless drill to make the chocolate chip cookies because it's so demanding, or at least when you're trying to mix in the morsels. So anyways, the oven's ready to go, so let's go ahead and pop those 2 loaves in there. Okay, let's go ahead and stick our air bake pan in there. And stick these 2 bad boys in there. And let's set our timer for about 65 minutes. Okay. So anyways, as I was saying, the motor swap definitely did help this thing out quite a bit. It's unfortunate that the designers of this product, they basically just selected a 550 size DC motor that was rated for 7.4 volts. Well, that's kind of not the whole picture. I mean, the thing is, a lot of these motors are designed to spin at a super high RPM, and because of that, they have a small amount of turns on their windings. And that was the case with the motor that was in this thing. I mean, you put it in that zucchini bread batter and it would smoke it. It was bad. The motor's in there now is actually a 540 size motor, and it came out of a 15.6 volt Black & Decker dustbuster vacuum cleaner. And it's a Johnson electric motor. It has a built-in cooling fan. So the fan alone was a big help. I mean, this whole mixer body, you could actually feel it getting quite warm. And that simply was not the case with the previous motor, because the heat was just concentrating in that motor and it was burning it up as a result. Whereas this motor here, the fan was helping cool that motor, which I think really helped in this scenario. So the other downside is battery life, but on the flip side, this thing charges up to a full charge rather quickly. I think it only takes like maybe an hour and a half, something like that. It charges using a USB Type-C right there. So it has a 7.4 volt battery pack, and it's 218-650 cells in series, and they are high drain cells. And for something like this, as cheap as it is, they went with low capacity cells. So the cells are only 1500 milliamp hours. So another modification I could perhaps do is source some better quality, higher capacity cells out of a power tool pack, or just buy them on the internet and make a pack. But it's kind of tricky to make a pack because I don't have the proper tools. I don't have the spot welder. Of course, I could solder the thing together, but you have to be extremely careful doing that. So, I mean, as you can see, it did last long enough to make 2 loaves of zucchini bread. So it appears that for use in the kitchen, I will have to charge it up between uses. Now, a little clarification on the battery life of this thing. For small stuff like whipping up batter for pancakes and mixing up like sausage balls and using the dough hooks to mix up meat and stuff like that, for small stuff, that battery will last a good little bit. Matter of fact, on a charge, I mixed up meat for Swedish meatballs. I used it again with the dough hooks to mix up meat for sausage balls. I think I made 2 batches of pancakes using that. I'm using the whisk attachment to mix that up. So for small stuff, I mean, it does pretty well, but of course that zucchini bread mixture was pretty thick. So anything that's demanding on it will run the battery down considerably faster. Now, coming back to those beaters I was talking about, the ones I showed you in this, I actually ordered them on Amazon. There's a whole set of beaters. It came with those turbo beaters. It came with a whisk. It came with a set of dough hooks. And it came with, not sure what it's called. It's like a little mixer. It's just one. And it was a whole set for like $15 or $18, funny. Nearly the cost of what this mixer here costs. But I should mention that if this was to totally die and I wanted to buy the actual KitchenAid cordless mixer, those attachments would work with it. And of course the KitchenAid mixer, you only get a set of beaters with it. You don't get the whole set of stuff. But the fact that I was able to simply modify this thing to accept KitchenAid attachments, hand mixer attachments, made this thing a whole lot more versatile. So I can use this for, of course, mixing batter, but I can also use it for whipping up stuff. You can use the dough hooks for mixing up meat, something like that, and it does pretty well with that despite the beaters not being really good quality. I don't really like the beaters that came with this, or not this, but that kit, because they're not balanced. So the thing tends to wobble, and yes, this thing is aligned properly. I mean, the other beaters, those turbo beaters, fitted just fine. So anyways, that's a good test of this thing following the motor swap. So I'll show you that zucchini bread once it's done. Like I said, it's got a little while to bake. So you'll get to see the zucchini bread fresh out of the oven, and I'll also include some footage of me using this mixer to mix up meat using dough hooks. Okay, so it's been just over 65 minutes now. Turn the light off actually. And it looks like we're about ready to go, so I'm going to pull these out and check them, make sure they are done. Sometimes they need a little more time, other times 60 to 65 minutes is just fine. It just depends. And to check these, all we have to do is just take a knife and just poke it in the center of the loaf all the way down, and if it comes out clean, we're good. Both of these came out clean, so we are good to go. So I'll let these cool down, and I'll pull them out of the pans. I'll tell you what, guys, this is one thing I like about baking zucchini bread, is it really smells wonderful in here when this is baking. Now, speaking of the mixer, I mean, this video is about the mixer. It is 2/3 of the way done with its charge. And the current time is 2:37. Yeah, it's late. But yeah, we're 2/3 of the way done with this charge. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate how this thing charges. So this thing did not come with a power adapter. They just gave you a USB Type-C charging cable. Again, this was less than $20. So, and the directions say that you can use a PC to charge this up, but I suggest using a plug-in power adapter like this one here, which is rated for 2 amps or 2.1 amps. So it does actually charge quicker when you do use a higher current USB power source. So all we do is just plug this in right here, and it does have this little indication to let you know that it's charging in the charging status. So it is, it's 1:37 a.m. Of course, it's Friday night, or technically Saturday morning now. So I'll probably still be up when this thing finishes. We'll see. So I'll try to keep a watch out and see when it finishes charging up. Okay, it is now 3:09 and this thing is fully charged. So that was roughly, I'd say, an hour and a half, something like that. The AC adapter here still just a tad warm, so it might still be topping off, but you can see the indicator is showing full. So there's a chance that maybe it needed a little topping off when I first used it. So anyways, go ahead and pop these two loaves out of the pans. That way I can go to bed. And here we are, the final product. So that was a test of that mixer after the motor replacement, as I made some zucchini bread. So anyways, hope y'all enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody, thanks for taking the time to watch this video from Cuckoo Channel. If this is your first time, please subscribe to the channel and be sure to tick the bell so we get notified of new video posts. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, leave a comment, and share this video as well as the channel with your friends and get the word out. Also, I have a second channel, that's CubeComp MTDX. Over there you'll find videos about thunderstorms and weather, cycling, and videos about me personally. Feel free to subscribe over there as well if you like. Again, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for your support.